You know what? They keep saying that we're in the age of disclosure, and I think that they're right. But I think we also need to start disclosing something else, like on a personal level. Like, I think more people, especially Americans, need to start disclosing how much they are struggling financially. Like, I made a video yesterday talking about how this is my first job that I've been able to land since November of last year. I'm not full time. That job is not full time. It is $19 an hour. It is 32 hours a week. My lease renewal, I've got my third notification about my lease renewal. I cannot afford to renew this lease, and I also can't afford to move, because if you move, what do you got to do? Deposit, admin fee, application fee, paying for the moving truck, taking time off of work, all this extra stuff that you have to pay for. I cannot afford to do either one. And a lot of people are in this position right now. A lot of people cannot find a job. And it's not because there's just a natural scarcity when it comes to job. It is a manufactured scarcity. They're not hiring anyone. They're cutting 90% of their workforce and getting the remaining 10% to do the work of the other 90% while not increasing their pay. The cost of everything is going up, but everybody keeps reporting record profits. Nobody can afford to pay their workers a livable wage, but everybody has record profits. But you know who does get paid? Shareholders, who do absolutely nothing for the company. This is the state of the economy right now. Like, this is a reality. This is real. And this is where we all are. It's a lot more people that are just too embarrassed to say. You should never be embarrassed about what this system has done to you, because I'm not.
Now, I wanted to hear everything in its full entirety so I could get a better understanding of what this age of disclosure conversation on TikTok is. And essentially what's been going on is there has been a slew of videos released by multiple different people with the words age of disclosure listed in the video or spoke about in the video. And people are being vulnerable about their financial situations. Now, if you're not new to this channel, you know we talk about financial situations all day, every day. So when I seen this topic popped up, I was like, oh, people are going to be honest about what is really going on for a lot of people in real life. And honestly, I don't see nothing wrong with it. And he is right. A lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are struggling to find a job, to afford rent. I don't know how many times I've said people can't even afford an emergency, which is why I get really upset to see people just out spending money all the time on things that might not be the biggest priority, because the reality of the situation is more people are struggling than they would like to admit. So I'm all for when people are being open and honest about what they're going through. Not everybody that is in a bad financial situation is in the bad financial situation because they're irresponsible. Now I need to start there. Do we talk about people on this channel that put themselves in bad financial situations and show it? Yes, because there's nuance to the conversation, but there is a separate group of people that you also have to think about in society that are doing everything that they can and it's still not enough. They may not be participating in all the extra overconsumption that a lot of people are doing, going to the concerts, going out to eat, going on these lavish vacations. They may not be doing those things. They might just be trying to get by and struggling to do that. And we have to remember also, just because people are going through something right now and expressing that is what they are currently going through, doesn't mean that that will be their reality forever. And the reason why I actually appreciate this honesty is because I've even been there before. I've lived in a motel with roaches, didn't have no money, no car, couldn't afford rent, getting to and from with a bus pass, no way to pay for school, nobody to help with resources. Is that currently my situation? No. However, I understand what it feels like to be in a situation where you're like, man, I'm doing everything I can and it's just not enough. I'm not making enough money. Like, I was a waitress making minimum wage, and that was way, but like 2012, 2011. And the way that inflation is looking right now, like I don't even want to know what it would be like in current day society getting paid what I was getting paid back then. Now, like, what would I do with that? And I was feeling like that back then because, hello. And I think what people are just trying to say here is, this is what I'm going through, and I want to share it with the world so you know that if you are too experiencing a time that might be a rough patch, a rough season in your life, you're not the only one. And I love that. I love sharing things like this, because with The way social media is, you would think everybody's rich because you only are going to get the highlight reels most of the time because social media is very fake. It is. It's fake. People are only showing you the great moments of their life. So all day people are consuming this, comparing themselves, questioning, hey, am I doing enough? Or why is so-and-so able to do X, Y, and Z and I'm not? Whole time you don't know the full picture. And again, everybody is on different paths in life. And that may just not be your path, what you're seeing other people experience, and that's fine. But the reality of the situation is some people do have it rough, and we can acknowledge that. It doesn't mean that they're less than of a person. So I want to see what the comments here are saying. And I also want to point out this person's name on TikTok is Casanova Brown. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but he was the first person I seen kind of initiate this conversation. And he posted many parts of his experience and his age of disclosure, kind of going over what he was going through in life on his TikTok. So if y'all want to check that out, feel free, because I think it's a great conversation. But in the comments here, now the first comment here says, don't leave out, the job postings are fake. Y'all, we have talked about this on the channel probably like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago at this point, where I was talking about how there are things called ghost jobs. A lot of people don't know that. Allegedly, some of these companies are posting jobs. People are doing these surveys and doing these questionnaires and things like that. And all it is they're taking that and collecting data. They're allegedly, allegedly. And feel free to go back and watch my video where I was talking about this a few years ago and do your own research. But there might be a reason why people are saying certain things seem manufactured, you know? Allegedly. And here's another comment saying a lot of people are just suffering in silence. Very true. Very true. Another comment saying paycheck gone once it hit my account. I know that's the case for a lot of people. Very interesting that that person pointed that out because a recent article was released this year in 2026 from Civil Science, and the article name is Living Paycheck to Paycheck in an Era of Financial Distress and Survival Mode Mentality. And it goes on to state in the article, as recent Civil Science data shows, 76% of Americans have little to no safety net, with 21% of regular paycheck recipients reporting that they have zero funds remaining, and 55% saying that they only have a little left over for savings or non-essential purchases each month. And it also says here, living paycheck to paycheck is a common reality for many Americans 2026. So when that person said, yeah, they're suffering in silence, I strongly believe that's a lot of people. And because this video was posted, other videos were posted where people were disclosing what they are experiencing in this current economy.
I've been so embarrassed to say this, but somebody said it was the age of disclosure and that more people should disclose about how they're doing financially as Americans. So let's just be honest. I work 40 hours a week. I can't afford an apartment. I physically can't afford an apartment. On paper, I can afford it, but after taxes and everything, it would be a strain. But I also can't afford to live in hotel rooms because hotel rooms have gotten way more expensive and they're about the same price as a high dollar apartment. So I've been trying to do that. I am like $30,000 to $40,000 in financial student loan debt because I was trying to get my bachelor's degree to fix my life. Fortunately, the government decided that a psychology degree wasn't worth it, and so my grant was taken and I don't qualify for student loans anymore.
I'm not even gonna lie, y'all. When it comes to certain degrees, we really have to think about what the payout, what the risk to reward ratio is going to be, because these student loans are doing so many people in. They are. And they've been doing it. In other videos, I have discussed what degrees historically do not pay very well. And I understand a lot of people are passionate about certain degrees, and I'm not saying that those jobs aren't important. I am saying consider the risk to reward ratio. And I know a lot of y'all are gonna be like, I wanna go to school to get an art degree. Do your own research and make an educated decision about what you are going into debt for, especially if you don't have any assistance. I say this humbly, y'all. Will you be able to utilize that degree in order to make enough money to live? If when you do your research, the answer to that is leaning more towards no, just take a second and maybe reconsider.
Because they say that my income to whatever ratio far outweighs how much it would cost to pay back my student loans. So I'm stuck in a dead-end job trying to make it happen. I can't qualify to get an apartment because my credit is bad from when I had a mental breakdown and I quit my job and I had to use my credit cards in order to pay for everything.
Right.
Then I'm homeless. I am living in hotel rooms or living in my car sometimes if I can't afford a hotel room because I'm trying to pay back all of the stuff on my credit for an apartment that won't even put any of the payments that I make onto my credit. So they use credit as a way in order to qualify you, but they don't actually put any of your payments for you paying your apartment on your credit. It's bad in America. Like, it's very bad in America. I'm blessed to have the job that I have, but I can't physically afford anything. I have been trying my hardest to try to, budget my way out, try to pay back things so that I can afford an apartment. In the meantime, I can barely afford food. I can barely afford to put a tank of gas in there. I used the last of my money to put some gas into my car because we're expecting some bad weather and I want to be able to at least get somewhere in case it happens. Right. Gas is at like almost $4.50.
And that's another thing, the gas. On top of all the other things that she's going through, like, very unfortunate. And honestly, she sounds like she's down on her luck, which many people are. Like, I've been down on my luck, like, just like one thing after another. And that's why I think when a lot of people hear these sort of discussions going on, when you've been there and you know what that feels like, I almost just want to let them just rant. Just let them get it off their chest, because that's what I wanted to do at the moment. Just, sometimes there ain't nobody to talk to about it. You just, like that comment said earlier, you just suffering in silence, just trying to get through the day. And if somebody asks you how your day's going, you might be on the brink of tears. Like, just don't even ask me, So I understand. And a lot of people are saying it is rough. I filled up my gas tank the other day. Gas was like $4.19. I wasn't even on full. It was almost $60. And I drive a responsible car, and $60. Do I want to pay $60? No, but some people paying that $60, that might be the difference between them getting to work and them having lights, So I don't even feel right about complaining about the fact that it's $60. It's still shocking for a fuel efficient car, don't get me wrong, but then I think about, while some of us may be looking at it like, oh, it's $60, like, that might be cutting into somebody else's grocery budget. And that's why I think it's important to remember what you are currently going through. If everything is fine for you, like, that's great, but it's also to remember that other people are experiencing life and having a whole separate experience than you. That might be good, that might be bad, what they're dealing with. I think what it brings me back to is gratitude, because even in my worst moments, I always thought somebody somewhere has it worse than me. I know it. I know somebody has it worse than me, and I still woke up today. I'm still blessed. Somebody didn't wake up today, so I got another chance every day to turn this around. And this might just be temporary. That's kind of like how I've always got through rough moments. I want to hear what else she has to say.
Alan, I am struggling so bad. I don't even know how I'm doing this. I'm trying my best to be enthusiastic and to be happy, but I am crying on a regular basis and I feel like I'm drowning, and I don't want to say anything to anybody because I don't want to lose my job, because they're firing people for being homeless. So I don't even want to tell them that anything. I've just been holding so many things inside that I can't take this anymore. Like, I just really wanted to say something to somebody because it hurts. It literally manifesting as actual physical pain, how much stress I have no family. My family doesn't give a about me and hasn't for a long time. I was going through the worst time of my life and they just basically told me to get through that. I had 2 mental breakdowns back to back, lost my job, lost my benefits, lost my apartment, lost my dog, lost my best friend, lost everything. And nobody gave one singular and I've been doing all of this alone with very, very, very minimum help. Apparently I make too much money to be able to benefit from any of the programs, but I don't make enough money to be able to afford my anything. I am eating once a day, if that, in order to there. I still go to the gym because it's the only place I can go to charge my phone and to be somewhere without somebody trying to call the cops on me, which has happened a couple of times. Just sitting in a parking lot because I didn't have nowhere to go. It's been rough the last couple of months. All I want to do is get my own apartment so that I can feel safe, but that looks like that's not even going to be a possibility anytime soon. And now 2 of the credit cards that I have are actively suing me in court. And so I tried my best to put in some payments in order to stop them from suing me, and the payments are taking pretty much my entire check. So that's what's going on with me. It feels actually good to say all this out loud.
That's exactly what I was saying, I think, in the last video. A lot of people just want to get it off their chest. I know a lot of y'all are going to be like, TikTok ain't the safe space. I know how the internet is. Trust me. I know. I get ate up every day on the internet. Is it a safe space? No. However, if they want to use this as an outlet because this is what's making them feel good to get it off their chest, so be it. That's the way I see it. So be it. I done got on the internet a few times to get something off my chest. People getting stuff off their chest in the comment section about the people getting it off their chest. Everybody want to feel seen and want to be heard. Don't we? Isn't that just human nature to want to be heard and understood? Now, granted, we can't control what people say because people have the right to say whatever they want to say, but I do believe that when you share certain things, it spreads awareness. And in this case, the awareness may just be, hey, I went to school, I did all the things that I was told to do, and it's still not enough, and I am struggling, and I just want the world to know I'm struggling, and that can just be that. I truly hope that this is all temporary for anybody that's feeling like that.
It's kind of embarrassing to tell a bunch of strangers, to be perfectly honest, but honestly, it just feels good to get it off my chest.
I think all of them are brave. And I've always said this. I think people who get online knowing how vicious and evil this world, and especially the internet and social media, can be, and they still do it anyway, if they get on here and just be vulnerable, I think it's brave. I've always said that it is a brave thing to pick up the camera and be vulnerable, because you can pick up the camera and just make a meal and somebody gonna drag your food. They gonna drag, just to do anything to show up and just say what you want to say how you feel, and just get it out. That's brave. Yeah. Like, especially when it comes to finances, that's brave. A lot of people don't like to talk about these sort of things. It's taboo because we as people typically only want to share when things are going good. But I just think that this makes you real. This is real life. Social media has given everybody the illusion everything's supposed to be good all the time, and that's not real life. Real life is up and down. It's bumpy. Everybody is not talking about the bumps that they're running into all the time. To the last person and to her, I commend them both. And with that being said, I'd like a lot of you to comment down below. What is your experience? Is your experience similar to any of the videos that we've seen so far? Do you think that it's rough? Wherever you're at. I don't care where. If you in America, if you somewhere else. Is it rough where you are? It's an interesting conversation. It is.
To add to the age of disclosure conversation, because I'm not ashamed of anything going on in my life right now, because I'm not in control of it, but the government is. Or that's what it feels like. I had a breakdown the other day because I am lost to I have no idea what it looks like for my future as an individual or for my family, and that's frustrating because I'm the person who's always two steps ahead, and we all know if you're not 2 steps ahead, you are one paycheck away from being homeless. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and not by choice, but because I can't find childcare. Because where we stay, the wait list is so long that she'll probably be in high school by the time she gets approved for it. My husband has made the most money he's made since we've been together. It can't tell because the cost of living is so high. We stay in Florida where a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom is $2,000 and less than 1,000 square feet, and they believe that they can tax out because we stay by the beach. The beach is the earth, sand and water. You're charging me for sand and water.
I'm still trying to rewind in my head. Did she say $2,000 for 1,000 square feet? 2,000 because it's near the beach. That rhyme don't act. Oh my Dr. Seuss. 2,000 for 1,000 feet by the beach in the heat. Anyway, Florida is expensive. Goodness. And she said a 2-bedroom. And that's another thing I want to bring up. She was mentioning childcare. I don't even know how much her childcare might be. Childcare is high. And my curiosity was getting the best of me. So I went to the to the internet. And it says here, Florida Today published this article saying, last year, by the way, how much does childcare cost in Florida? This ranks Florida amongst the most expensive states. Actually, to be more specific, Florida ranks in the top 15 most expensive states when it comes to childcare costs in 2025. I don't even know about 2026. I assume because everything has went up, probably went up too. Oh my goodness. Oh gosh. On Wallet Hub's ranking, it says here for single parent households, they are typically spending around 24 to 28% of their average income on childcare. And that's if you're single in the state of Florida with children. Goodness gracious. But this is what I wanted to see right here. The average monthly cost of childcare in Florida ranks from $700 to $1,000 a month, depending on whether you choose in-home or center-based childcare. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. Goodness gracious.
And we don't even stay by the beach. We just buy water because we're in Florida. But what else? Oh, we drive a $2,000 Durango that was gifted to us because we can't afford to get another car because the cost of living is so high. Can't save because the cost of living is so high. Our AC does not work because we can't get it fixed because the cost of living is so high. We're literally paying for necessities, and even then we don't live beyond our means. We just want to live. We guilt trip ourselves so bad because we just want to have a good time. We will have a date night that we are so deserving of and can't even enjoy it because we feel guilty the entire time. It's extremely and I've tried. I'm a hustler. I can do hair, I can do makeup, I can bake, I can cook. I've tried everything and it's still not enough because I stay in an area where they haters and they want to see a black woman win. It's so hard, and I have no idea what to do anymore. I have to rely on God because if I rely on anything else, I will be 6 feet under because I'm so tired of this losing battle. That's what it is. So this is my contribution to the age of disclosure conversation.
And ma'am, you said they a bunch of haters where you at. I'm trying to understand where the plus side to Florida was at. Maybe it's because her husband has a job there, and I'm sure there's nuance to her situation. As with any situation, we don't get the full story online, but I'm trying to understand, ma'am, if it's like that in Florida, you paying $2,000 for 1,000 square feet, can't find childcare. If you could find childcare, that's $700 to $1,000 off top, then you still gotta find a job. I mean, the weather is nice. Like you said, the people is haters, so it's like doubt that there's much community. I'm just like, Florida just might not be the place that is best, for y'all to flourish. Some people move and they flourish somewhere else. I'm saying this, to be on the bright side. Sorry to everybody in Florida. It just didn't sound good the way she described it. If she can do all of that, you got gifts with making cakes, doing hair, you a natural hustler. I'm like, it might just be the market. I don't know. But her glasses are so cute. I was so distracted. So cute. But yeah, her situation, like a lot of people, like she's saying, we don't know. We can't see bank statements. A lot of people say they don't spend above their means. They may or may not be. But in her case, I'm just going off of what she said. If she really doesn't spend above her means as a family and she's still not able to make it, I know that she is not the only family that is like that. There are plenty of families that don't spend above their means and they still can't make it. It just is what it is right now until, they either make some more money or they're able to cut back or get another source of income or get some sort of help. It can be a lot. Can be. And then the people that have children, my goodness, I consider and think about them a lot. I'm like, the people without kids compared to the people with kids, I'm like, the childcare, the diapers, Similac, the cost, all of that going up. It's just too much. And then people are trying to get by themselves. When you put a child in the equation or question people on why they don't have children, it's like we have age of disclosure videos and some of the people making the videos are single. They are single. So when we talking about adding and bringing another life into this world, if we're having age of disclosure conversations, what about them? That's what I'd be thinking. What are they finna be having next? And that's why for me right now, they gonna stay in my dreams and imaginations. That's it. Because it's a lot even for people by themselves. A lot of people don't have somebody that they can call on for help. It's just them. And yes, and I believe Casanova Brown on TikTok was the one who started this whole conversation on TikTok, because she's saying here she saw him speaking on the age of disclosure and how we should be more transparent about the realities of the hardships in our current society. That is for sure, I believe, where it started. Well, shout out to y'all. And somebody here in the comment section is saying, can't go back to school because how will I pay off this high rent? Another comment saying, I broke down to my family because I'm turning 40 this year and staying with my parents, and I don't see me ever owning a home. I have a job, but of course it doesn't pay well. The job market is a mess. So I went to college, got a degree, trying to pivot, and guess what? Graduated and still can't find a job that's a livable wage, or at least higher. So I guess I'm going to have to work 2 jobs. But the kicker is, I have 3 young kids. How the heck am I supposed to have time for them? Oh my goodness. My. I hope she was able to go to college and didn't have to pay student loans, or doesn't own student loans. Because then you might just end up going to work to pay off the loan if you can't get a job in the career field that was supposed to be high paying. Hopefully it was high paying, which is why I keep stressing y'all, please look up the projections of the job that you're wanting to get a degree in. We also have to consider things like, where is society moving? Robots, AI, things like that taking over jobs. I know a lot of people don't want to consider those things, but things are moving very fast. People are being replaced with jobs, with AI. The conversations that need to be had, especially with the youth, what area do you think would be useful to society in 20 years from now that may not be rapidly replaced with AI? A lot of y'all are stuck in the past. And I'm not, no shots at the boomers. Look, I ain't got, but this is not back then. We got technology. We have things that are currently in real time replacing people, thousands of people losing jobs because a computer can do the job that they were once doing. We have to be realistic, because if not, we are like, the next group of people is just being set up for student loan debt, even though now there are stipulations to that. There are limits now. As the last lady was saying with her psychology degree, it's not just limited to that. There is a cap now for many things. So it's a lot to consider, y'all. It's a lot. And I think it's fair to say that many people feel uncertain about what the future might look like. I even feel uncertain. I'm like, I don't know what we finna be dealing with in the next 10, 20 years. I don't know. All you really can try to do is navigate the best you can, which is, I think, also part of this whole conversation is people saying, hey, I'm just trying to navigate the best way I can. I don't have all the answers. And as I'm doing that, this is what I'm experiencing. And that's okay. Somebody said, when you said Florida, I yelled, the cost of living is insane there. Oh, she said here. Oh, she's there too. Somebody said, when I say it's a scheme set up by Todd, if I could leave tomorrow, I would. Not Todd catching a stray. Todd gonna catch a stray in every video, I guess I do. But they're saying here, but it's getting so expensive everywhere. So it's like a double-edged sword. Yeah, it is getting high everywhere. I'm not gonna lie. And the places that aren't high, they turn it into the places that's high. Because everybody is coming from the places that are like extra high, like California, and they'll go over to somewhere else where it's not as high. And then it becomes high over in those places. And then you like, dang, we in Cali? But what can you do but adapt?
I wrote this down so I wouldn't deviate and so I can stay concise. This is my age of disclosure. It started when I realized I needed a new way to generate income, so I looked into nursing school, but they wanted over $3,000 a semester with no financial aid. That was not an option for me. So I kept searching, and I stumbled into truck driving school. I quit my job as a direct support professional /server /Uber driver, and I put everything into a 3-week program just to get my CDL. I don't want to say the name of the company I work for, but I will tell you what I do. Every Monday morning at 6 a.m., I leave my spouse, my dogs, roommate, and I do not come back until Saturday, sometimes even Sunday. I sleep in my truck alone every single day. I shower at truck stops when I can, when they're clean, and when they're even available. I wake up every day and I just hope I don't myself or anyone else driving this massive vehicular weapon. I pick up my load, drive it to its destination, and then unload the entire truck by myself. Sometimes in scorching heat, and sometimes in weather so cold my fingers go numb and sting. And I'm expected to do this every single day, without question, without complaint. Let me tell you what I actually make. My take-home pay for the last 4 weeks are $734.
For the last week. And he's going all week sleeping in the truck.
$710, $823, $728. That's $2,995 for the entire month. And no, I do not pay child support. No, my wages are not being garnished. That is my take-home pay every week.
Now, I just want to put this in perspective. If he lived in Florida, when he said that $2,995, if you lived in Florida off of that, what that last lady said, she was paying $2,000. You only got $1,000 left now. And then with the child care being $700 to $1,000, that could easily wipe out everything. If you just had the rent and the child care, you already ain't got no food. You see what I mean? And that doesn't mean that this man isn't working hard. There are people who are working hard and they are scraping by. And I don't know where he lives. I was just using that as an example, but it just makes you think, right? Would it be fair to say everybody is irresponsible? No, it's not. Some people actually don't make enough money to not struggle, to not feel like they are cutting it really close. They have responsibilities and they know they can't even probably take off from work because they can't afford to take off from work. They need to make sure they have a place to live, you know? Man.
That's 70 hours every week. I max out my clock every week.
Wow.
You want to know how much the rent for my home is?
I'm scared. Does he live in Florida? Off of my example, if he lives in Florida or anywhere near it, or if the price is even near 2,000, I'm just going to, what do y'all think it is? My guess, okay, I'm gonna go a little lower. My guess for him is going to be 1,600 or 1,700 a month. Let's see.
$2,700.
It's worse than I thought. It was actually worse than I thought. And where, sir, do you live in Calabasas? No. Are you from California? This is California, no, right? Where do you live? It's not funny. I'm disgusted at the number, actually. Did he say rent? His rent is that much or mortgage? Not that it kind of is a little better because at least if it's a mortgage, it's like at the end of all the pain, even though you still got to pay taxes every year on the house, even if you paid it off, at least, you technically have a house if you pay your property taxes. Is that rent? What type of, where? Is this a penthouse? Actually, you know what? This just ain't normal rent probably now. Goodness gracious, sir. And what's crazy is he probably ain't even at the house very often because he's in the truck. So already he don't make enough to live. Because by the time he fill up his gas tank a couple times, all his money is gone. So what I'm thinking is, does he have a roommate or a wife? Honestly, it's to the point where roommate or a wife. And I've been saying this for a minute. I said it was a scheme that Todd set up, that there was a lot of propaganda out to get people to look at people that they really should be working together with as the ops. I'm not saying that some of them aren't the ops. I'm saying if you want to be part of the he-man woman hater club or the she-man man hater club, it could be a bit rough when you're doing life alone financially. And I'm talking no matter which way you cut and slice it, if you're a man or if you're a woman, if you fed into the propaganda, I hope you have a roommate. Not saying him, I'm saying people in general. And hopefully you have somebody that you can work together with, because these prices, y'all, it's hard to do it alone. Or even if you don't have a roommate or a significant other, maybe you have family, maybe some parents. There's no shame in staying with parents. And that's what I will say on this age of disclosure conversation. We need to stop shaming people for living with their parents. Stop kicking the kids out at 18, knowing you ain't taught them nothing. Stop it. You're not teaching them anything by throwing them out to the wolves in an economy where most adults by themselves can't survive. We have to stop the madness. Now, you could have got away with that stuff 10 years ago. Look around. You have these kids out here in survival mode. We got to do better as people. We really do. And families, you might have to come together. Being wise about how the resources are being spent. Yeah, group economics. I'm all for it. However you want to do it. But the rent being $2,700 is taking me out.
Which fluctuates up or down.
Why does it fluctuate?
How am I supposed to afford groceries? My car note, My insurance. The vacation, that's not even a thought. Time off, not possible. I haven't seen my mother in over 2 years. And this is supposed to be one of the highest paying trucking gigs out here. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know if making this video is gonna hurt or help, but I hope it reaches the right people, because people are not going to make it. Most days I feel like I'm not gonna make it till tomorrow. What are we supposed to do now?
Lord have mercy. I pray strength, peace, and blessings for all of y'all. For everybody. Everybody. We all need it. Man, it's kind of uncomfortable to hear, somebody say, hey, this is supposed to be one of the highest paying truck driving jobs around. And then you hear the cost of living and you hear the pay and you're like, oh, actually, that's not going to do it. That's not going to do it. You can't save enough for you to get by unless you have help. Unless you had extra money maybe laying around or some other sources of income maybe. But if that's the sole source of income, which it sounds like it was, I can understand where he's coming from. Because what do you do besides try to make more money? And I won't even insult anybody's intelligence. I'm sure people are trying to make more money. And it's kind of like, it gets to a point where it's like, you just got to keep trying harder and then keep trying harder. And that's honestly just what it seems like. Honestly, I will say this on the bright side. If it's a 2-person income, things don't seem so bad then. They don't seem so bad then. Now, he said he will add that he's looked for other places to live, cheaper places, all of which somehow doubled in rent since he last looked. He says he's been frugal, starved, sacrificed. And he said, all that I'm saying is, for the work I do, putting my life on the line every day, I feel like I should be compensated fairly. I cannot live like this anymore, and I don't know what to do to make this better. Pound age of disclosure, pound honesty, pound finance, pound economy, pound stress. Lord have mercy. Someone here says, and yes, I will read it. Father God, I pray you provide for this brother, meet all his needs, and make this video open doors he never imagined were possible. In Jesus' name, amen. We got some truck driving recruiters reaching out in the DMs. They said, hey, contact me. Let me see what I can do for you. Others saying, oh, I hope this reaches the audience it was intended for. The age of disclosure conversation is so important. And someone else here is saying, wow, I don't know where I got the impression that truck drivers make like $80,000 to $90,000 a year. Honestly, about 10 years ago, I thought the same thing. But somebody here is saying they used to. The money just isn't that good anymore. And somebody else said spouse and a roommate. Dang. Does he have a spouse and a roommate? I can't confirm nor deny. And I'm truly sorry that he, and as well as many other people, are going through a lot. But I actually think the age of disclosure conversation, even though uncomfortable for many people, I think it is necessary to see the realities of real life. Not just what people want to show on social media, the glitz and glamour, the vacation, the bags, the fake stuff, just real people expressing real things, because it just goes to show you everybody is not balling, and that's okay. There will always be rich and there will always be people who are not rich. And this conversation, I think, shows how even watching people have this conversation, you might see bits of yourself or people that you know in the people that we've shown here in the videos, or what they've expressed, or maybe you felt even the same way they felt in these videos at some point in time in your life. I know I can relate, and I hope that everybody's pockets just overflow with the dough, that people can relieve themselves of stress and get through whatever rough patches they're going through right now. But I need to know what y'all think about all this down below. What do y'all think about the conversation of the age of disclosure? Do y'all think that this is a necessary thing in current society, or do you think that people shouldn't even be talking about stuff like this? Is it something that people should just deal with and figure their way out through and not tell social media? Or do you think that sharing this is helpful? Do you think that it helps other people feel less alone? No matter what you feel, comment down below. But we got to start making better decisions today in order to have a better future.